Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure and absolute delight to welcome you to the online add-on to India's leading festival of arts, culture, and design. Conceptualized by the inimitable Madhu Neotia and supported by the Neotia Arts Trust, the India Story over the last 5 years has hosted some of the biggest names in fashion, design, art, music, and culture. Today, on India's 74th Independence Day, I welcome you to episode 1 of season 1 of the online add on to the already very successful festival, The India Story Continues. With me today are two people who you really logged on to see, Sandeep Khosla and Raj Mahtani. Welcome.
Hi, happy Independence Day, everybody.
Yeah, happy Independence Day. And I hope you guys are doing your thing.
Sandeep, you are fashion designer to Bollywood and Hollywood royalty. Long before the members of the Indian film industry walked the red carpet at the Oscars, your clothes did, on Judi Dench, no less. You are one half of the now iconic Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla label, which celebrates Indian aesthetic in each of its designs. More importantly, you're a mentor to dozens of designers and a source of uncomfortable envy to many others. Your company may be recognized for the clothes it creates for the who's who, but few acknowledge what a great support you are to the humble and talented karigars and artisans alike. Sandeep Khosla, thank you for being here this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Jamal. Thank you for this wonderful introduction.
Raj, you are a man of mystery, and I've realized you like it that way. Bombay thinks you're in Calcutta, Calcutta thinks you're in Delhi, Delhi thinks you're in another part of the world, but nobody really knows where you are. More importantly, nobody knows who you are with. You've designed jewelry not just for Bollywood's royalty, but also for members of India's most affluent families. And then there are your collabs, as the millennials would call it, with Diane von Furstenberg and Roberto Cavalli. You may be a man of some mystery, Raj, but for us, you're just someone we're all extremely proud of, whose work we are happy to see travel from India to the world. Welcome, Raj Mahtani.
Thank you, Jamal. That was an undeserving introduction, but thank you all the same.
First up, Sandeep and Raj. Now, I have been to the India Story only for the last 2 years, but I know both of you have been associated with it for several years before that. What is your fondest memory of the India Story?
I think the fondest memory is yet to come because Madhu's been promising these wonderful shows. So we are looking forward to the next big show in Calcutta, which is a complete mind boggler for the Calcutta audience. But it's a
Raj,
great effort.
Yes, no, fantastic. Raj, over to you.
So, the very first time Madhu spoke to me about it was before she launched season 1 of the India Story. And she was so excited. She was like this little girl, really excited about her first child. Like, she was bubbly and vivacious and she was going on. And I couldn't understand it because I said, what's the difference between this and just another exhibition? There are just so many exhibitions. And frankly speaking, exhibitions have been coming out of our ears in the last few years. So I couldn't understand it. But, as season 1 came and then the second year round, I began to understand that this is a woman who's got something else at the back of her mind. She really has got this arts initiative. And I think it's become like a cult, like I said, where she's trying to promote the arts in a different way. What I love about it is that she brings in fresh new talent. And it's almost like a festival, but very measured. There's a method to the madness. It's beautifully curated. And I think the last season really stole the show because it was par excellence. It was just fabulously done. She had musicians, we had artists, the bar was flowing, there was food, and she's bringing in culinary chefs, and I mean, it was just like an amazing, amazing festival.
Absolutely, Raj. It's a celebration of design in India that goes across fashion and architecture and interiors and all of it. Sandeep, if you were to do a show next year, what would it be? What would you theme it?
It'll be an ode to Calcutta for sure, because it's such an inspirational it will definitely revolve around Durga Puja.
Excellent.
It is just such a wonderful, the imagery of Durga Puja in all its
Yes.
forms is so magical. Whenever you see a photograph, whether they're preparing for it, whether they've done those wonderful lights, I mean, it's just
Yes.
magic. It has got a magic to it and a great
Fantastic.
energy to it.
We cannot wait for that to happen. And ladies and gentlemen, the India Story Continues is just a precursor to that big happening. As a special treat, Sandeep and Raj, we have a little montage of your participation at the India Story in the past. Let's play that out. How beautiful was that?
Wonderful.
Sandeep, first, I'm putting the spotlight on you.
Okay.
I'm taking you back to August 15, 1986, when two people met and a Shah Rukh Khan song was born, even before Shah Rukh Khan, the superstar, was born. That song was, and ladies and gentlemen, pardon my singing, but you'll know why I'm doing this. That song was, Sandeep, Do Dil Mil Chuke Hain.
Oh God, nahi.
दो दिल मिल रहे हैं मगर चुपके चुपके.
Okay.
Sandeep,
Thank you
tell
so
us
much,
that
Jamal.
story. Tell us
Your
that
singing,
story.
your singing skills are par excellence. You have to be on the next Indian Idol, darling, no less. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
don't try to wriggle out of the question. दो दिल मिल रहे हैं मगर चुपके चुपके. Tell us what happened on the 15th of August, 1986.
Actually, Abu and me met for the first time on 15th of August, 1986. And it was a chance meeting at a friend's place. And there it went, and history was made, I must say, honestly, because we took shared a taxi into town. I was in Bandra. And we were both going towards Marine Drive. And then we started talking, and we are still talking 34 years later.
Just talking?
Just talking, and more than talking, creating, talking, loving, everything else, and being happy.
Fantastic. So Raj, just to explain what just happened here with the bad singing at the start, it's actually the 34th anniversary of Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla. This is the day Abu Sandeep celebrate the anniversary of the birth of their brand every year. But more importantly, and I think because this is such a personal platform, this is their personal anniversary. Sandeep, congratulations. In times when weddings don't last for 3 months or 3 years, you guys have survived 34 years with such success, with such love.
And Jamal, we're barely legal. We're just 2 years into legality.
Absolutely. So I'm not sure barely not being legal is a bad thing in any way.
It's not a bad
in your
thing.
head. So tell me, so you met on 15th of August 1986. What was it first a professional connect, or was it first a personal connect? How did it work?
I think it was just a massive connect. Let's put it was a connect, and then it just one thing led to another. But almost immediately, we were almost sure that we wanted to work together.
Right.
And we wanted to do something together. And Abu at that time, Abu had started working at the age of 17, 18. I started working at the same age, and we met. We were in our early 20s, and those days there were the times of ghost designers, where rich husbands gave their wives pocket money to start a little shop, and people like us were hired to be on the back door. We used to be behind the scenes, and we should be designing for them. So, unfortunately, none of that work is actually with us any longer. And we produce a huge body of work in the first
Yes.
2-3 years.
Right. Right.
24 years later.
You mentioned something about a taxi ride. Tell us what happened in the back of the taxi.
No, we were actually, nothing could happen in the back of a taxi. Okay. Unless you've been having phenomenal taxi rides in Mumbai. So, that will be another part of the story. But yes, but no, we got talking. And I was supposed to go back to my friend's house where I was staying. But we just went on talking, and then we went for a walk, and then we went to Pretoria back in the day and had a pizza, and we were still talking into the wee hours of the morning, and we just talked, Jamal, just for your information.
Fantastic. May you keep talking. May you keep bringing as much joy, Sandeep. Both of you are fantastic. You don't know how much you are loved. And let me tell you, 34 years is a huge milestone. Congratulations. We look forward to the next 14, 16, and then the 50th. Yes?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're so kind.
Congratulations, Sandeep. I have a small question for you at this point. Both of you, aren't you known as the les enfants terribles of fashion, like the bad boys of fashion? Do you think
we are bad boys? We've never disowned the bad boys. We are the bad boys of fashion because we throw tantrums, we walk out, we do things which we think are not fair, and people are scared of us for no reason at all. Because actually, we are perfectly normal people, as Jamal will tell you. And
yeah, but that's amazing. I had no idea today was your anniversary, so it's amazing that it is.
So Raj, I'm expecting at least some emeralds from you now. Okay, thank you.
Massive discount.
Massive discount.
Raj, it's amazing you bring this up about about being the bad boys, but when you stand up when you believe in something, and that is what Abu Sandeep are known for, right? They will not compromise, and that is what makes them the designers that they are today. Sandeep, a little more. You are associated with the most beautiful women of Bollywood. You have your muses that we all know of: Jaya Bachchan, Shweta Bachchan, Tabu, Dimple Kapadia, Amrita Singh, now their daughter, Sara Ali Khan. Do you have a secret muse that we do not know of?
Actually, the secret muse is actually between Abu and me. We first create for ourselves what pleases us, and all these women, all these wonderful friends of ours, and everybody that we've met and whoever we design for today is through our work. And they've trusted us 100%. And so our muse is somewhere between Abu and me, a character who is not there, but it's a wonderful woman with a lot of confidence and a lot of self-assurance and not afraid of anything at all. Doesn't give a, you know what.
Right. You can say it.
Doesn't give a flying fuck, and who's independent and charting new territories in her own life.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Raj, I'm going to move to you now. Is your muse a male or female?
Well, I don't design for men, so my muse has to be a woman as far as imagery goes. I've come to think of it, I always wanted to dress Madonna, but that was secretly nurtured. But when I look at my work today, I think the muse is the everyday bride that I see and I'm meeting every day. And they come in all shapes and sizes and varieties. So, some a little grumpy, some come with their parents, and taking care of them and their tantrums and their parents' tantrums. Because when you're a jeweler, you have to put up with a lot of stuff, let me tell you. I know in fashion, I'm sure Sandeep has to put up with a lot. And fittings with brides must be like a nightmare at times, which is what we go through as well. But I think these are natural muses because these are the people that we design for, right? I mean, our money comes from weddings. And honestly speaking, in India, it's all about the big Indian wedding. And we're all really slaves to this whole system.
Right. When we spoke the other day.
We're not slaves. We are not slaves. When I hear the word something different, I run out of the room. Something kuch acha hai, something different. When I heard something different, And I'll run out of the room and say, guys, take over. There's something different not happening. Because you're a bride at the end of the day, you have to look like a bride. You have 2,000 people coming to your wedding. Now there'll be 50 people coming to your wedding. But the more classic you are, it's a garment that you want to keep forever and maybe wear on your 50th fucking anniversary. So if you're going to be a geeky bride, I run. I scoot from there. But I agree.
I can almost picture
with jewelry,
that.
it's just more, a little more difficult because it's much more, you know.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
I can almost picture that. But Raj, when we spoke the other day, you told me about, there was a little bit of a rant and a little bit of a complaint that in fashion shows, it's the clothes that take center stage and jewelry is relegated to an accessory. Tell us about that. Complain all you want to.
I mean, brides come to me all the time and they're like, we're wearing this outfit by Sandeep or, and what kind of jewelry do you think will go with it? And their clothes are never ready for me to see because their blouses are always being done and they've just ordered their outfits. So for me, it's a kind of a guessing game because, like we're doing the jewelry, but then honestly, in the Indian scene, the jewelry has been relegated to second place. And I think kudos to the fashion designers in the fashion world for doing what they've done. To take a piece of cloth and give it value addition and take it to make it into such an iconic thing. I mean, hats off to them.
No, but Raj, I must compliment you because you don't do the normal Akbar Jodha stuff. As I call it, the Akbar Jodha necklace. You do different things. And I'm just in defense of the designers for a second. The point is the blouse is made last because we don't know what kind of jewelry we're getting.
I know.
Ask them, are you wearing an Akbar Jodha necklace? Are you wearing a wonderful eclectic piece by Raj Mahtani or somebody else? But if it's an eclectic piece, you almost create around that, But if it's Akbar Jodha necklace, who cares? And then you can do anything. It's going to cover the neck.
Yeah. So my point is that if you're spending so much money on the jewelry, then you need to first decide what your jewelry is and then sort of show it to the designer and let the designer sort of design the clothes. But everything is done last minute. But having said that, I think we jewelers as a community have not sort of taken that step to do the value addition to give it that status that we really need to. And I think that the fault lies with us. And the fashion community has done a wonderful job of taking fashion center stage and actually promoting it in such an enviable way that they've managed to arrive at a beautiful balance, and they've created an iconic thing out of their clothes. I mean, if you look at Sandeep, his clothes, they're iconic. The brand today is revered. There's a lot of respect for the brand. I think that, my clients who come to me, their brand is aspirational because they'll sort of connect with my jewelry and then say, if we can afford Abu Sandeep, then we would like to.
That's a lie.
No, but the point,
you don't even compare in prices.
What I'm trying to say is that it's a very enviable position to be on because it's so easy to discount your brand, but to get up there today and create what they've created as as a team is impossible to do. I mean, it's just so aspirational and it's the dream of every brand to be like that.
Thank you.
So as someone watching from the outside, the solution to me is very simple. Both of you need to work together more so that you know what the bride wants and you have it ready before, which then brings me to a sticky question for Raj. Raj, you did 2 mega shows very recently in Bombay with Manish Malhotra. Why not Abu Sandeep?
Well, now you're trying to hit a little in that space. But
lighting a fire, Raj is lighting a fire.
No, so let me tell you, I've been really secretly wanting Sandeep and Abu to sort of come up and ask me, but I'm a great fan of theirs, and I've been looking at what they do, and I mean what Abu Sandeep really stand for is design across the board. I mean, if you look at their interiors, if you look at their homes, they've designed clothes, they've designed juttis, shoes, bags, jewelry. They've done everything that one could possibly do, and with a lot of taste and a lot of sophistication. So, I don't think they really need me because they're in such a space where they can create jewelry out of anything. And I've seen
Correct.
their shoes. They're
Correct.
iconic.
Correct. No.
They're complete in themselves. But secretly, I have been nurturing this desire that one day I'm going to get this phone call. So what I actually did was 4 years ago, I went and bought a store right on top of them, so that they can't in Bombay, and we're right, just above their store. So I'm secretly hoping that one day he's going to wave out from below and say, "Hello, show tomorrow."
Back to your introduction, Raj is traveling most cities. You don't know whether he's in Mumbai.
We don't know where he is.
Delhi, south of France. He's everywhere.
So and who is he with? Who is he traveling with?
When you come to Calcutta,
who are you traveling with? You want to know who are you traveling with? That's the question to you.
When you come to Calcutta the next time, we'll do something about the show in Calcutta.
100%. We'll do Durga Puja. We'll do it together. We'll do together.
Done.
Wow, that's a commitment. That's a commitment on live on the India Story Continues. Raj, thank you for taking that question.
I must tell you one more thing, that when brides come to us, Raj, they do not tell us. They're almost secretive about the jewelry designer for some reason. And we never, and I even ask them, are you going to so-and-so, or are they coming to you? Or there are only 2-3 people who do really fantastical work. And you literally name them on your fingertips. And if you ask them who they're going to. So that's otherwise you could coordinate and say, okay, fine, I can talk to him. But the point is, as you know, I mean, there are a lot of wedding clothes that Abu Sandeep have never done, which are credited to them. And the same way, there are a lot of you have never made, which is credited to Raj Mahtani. I'm sure you go through this.
No, Raj, thank you for taking that question. It was a tough one to take, but what Sandeep just brought up is something you told me the other day. Fashion designers need to be in the limelight, whereas jewelry designers need to take a back seat, because when jewelry purchases happen and selection happens, there's often money involved that people do not want in the public eye. Is that correct? Is that why you're the man of mystery and you actually don't really have anything to hide?
No, actually, I think I'm a little reticent by choice, and I like to be a little bit in the shadows, as it were. But having said that, I think we have to be a little more discretionary with our clients when it comes to purchase of jewelry. They like that, I mean, it's like, I don't know if you realize it, but if you look at the mass brands in the country, when you're talking about a Joya Lucas or a Kalyan, they have all these major stars that they endorse, that endorse their jewelry. And I often feel that, it's got mass appeal when you're working. Whereas a lot of my clients think otherwise. They think that, because this person is wearing that, I don't want to wear it. So they want that exclusivity. A lot of the time, they don't want to reveal the name because they feel that they want to be the first people wearing that particular piece of jewelry. And there's a lot of discretion involved in the purchase, of course. So those are the two main reasons.
Right. There's luxury, the survival of luxury today, and everyone agrees, depends on making it more accessible to the masses. And both of you are doing that in your own way. Sandeep, if I may, I'm today feeling a little more like a man because I'm wearing a kurta called Mard. Now, Mard is a man, but Mard is a man on extra testosterone. Then where do these names come from? Right? Mard, Gulabo. Tell us about all the brand extensions that Abu Sandeep.
So actually, I'm sitting in the Gulabo store. As we speak, I'm sitting in the Gulabo store in Goa, because that's where we are today. And so Gulabo was actually inspired by Vahidaji's character in Pyasa. If you ever saw Pyasa,
yes, of course. Yes.
And Mard just came as the most obvious man label, and Asal was actually and Asal was actually Abu and me were fed up of all the knockoffs that were happening in the market. So we said, let us only capitalize on knockoffs, and let's float a brand which is telling the Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla story, but in a milder, a slightly different way, and much cheaper. And that's how we called it, so that it's still genuine and it's not and it belongs to the house of Abu Sandeep.
Right. Well, fantastic. It feels absolutely wonderful to be wearing this, and I hope you
Thank you.
approve the way I'm wearing it.
You look really good. Yes.
What I'd like to know is, doesn't the exclusivity of what comes with your names attached to it get diminished when you open it up to such a wider audience? Sandeep
No.
first.
So where Abu Jani Sandeep Khosla is concerned, what we do over there is exclusive in any case. It's a very limited number of pieces. Asal
Correct.
reaches a much bigger audience. Also, because there's
Right.
a much wider audience waiting to wear our clothes. And what
Yes.
happens, we don't do it. As it is, we are sending at least bloody 3 fucking notices a day to knockoffs or inspirations, and we're posting on
Right.
Instagram a picture of a celebrity wearing it and saying can
Yes.
be made by me in Jaipur. It can be made by me in Timbuktu. You know,
Right.
you're already facing that. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
and they're blatant about it. And
Right.
they're telling Mr. Bachchan wants something of ours on his birthday, and I've
Yes.
seen pictures that picture appearing from other
Yes.
brands. They say
Yes.
by so and so, but this
Yes.
is Sandeep Khosla, but we
Right.
can make.
Right.
So
Right.
this,
Right.
I mean, this is it's a crazy, we live in crazy times, you know. So this
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
people to actually, but you really can't block anybody because they have, copyright is still not really in place in its own
right.
form.
Right. No. So so you say, so the parent brand remains sacrosanct, and then there are these
Yes.
sub brands. And let me tell you, Gulabo, Mard, all great fun. They personify your spirit. They connect with the millennial generation, which is often very careful about what they want to go for. So congratulations, you've done a fantastic job.
Thank you so much.
Raj,
Thank you.
must be a bigger challenge being a jeweler, opening up to a broader audience. How are you planning to achieve this?
So, I started this whole thought process a long time ago, and I've been connected with Mughal, with the Mughal era and the Ottoman Empire, which really inspired me to begin with. And I always
Correct.
had this thought that how do I modernize it? How do I make it more contemporary?
Yes.
So I looked at old design. I used old technique, old Meenakari, old technique of manufacturing. But then I
Yes.
like to think of myself as the rock and roll boy of jewelry,
Yes.
to have sort of, turned that old thing around and made it more contemporary, which
Yes.
is what I like to think of the brand as being. Because I
Right.
think you have to speak a very contemporary language, a modern language, to be able to connect with the younger people. And I
Yes.
also see, I wanted to move away from this whole jarao and this lark filled jewelry into something which was more value based and which
Yes.
was modern, which was soft, something you could
Yes.
fold and wrap around. So my new
Yes.
pieces, you can wrap them around your finger. You can sort
Correct.
of make a bracelet into a necklace. You can make a necklace into 2 bangles.
Right.
And I like that whole feeling.
Versatile.
I think you have to move on. And that
Right.
also opened up a new vista in the sense that I was able to connect with many more people because you can do more
Right.
affordable stuff. Like if you're
Right.
making a necklace into 2 bangles and people think instead of buying 3 things, let me buy one thing.
Right.
So
Right.
that connect was there. And then the
So
stacking
Raj,
up.
yeah. So Raj, that brings me to my next question, which could actually be the core of our conversation today. Um, there is a certain garishness, and I'm pardon my use of the word garish. I do it with as positive a meaning as I can. There's a
There's
kind of
nothing
rich.
positive about garage.
There is there's a kind of garishness or a richness in Indian design that may not be acceptable or may not fit in as comfortably in Western environments and Western design. As we take Indian designs to the world, how do we reach a middle point, keeping the identity that Indian design and Indian aesthetic has, and meeting the acceptability standards of slightly more conservative, minimalistic design mindsets in the West? Raj, will you go first?
So I think the first thing we have to do is we have to get rid of this bridal thing in our heads. Because, fashion and jewelry in India has become all about the wedding and about brides. So we really
Yes.
think more is more.
Yes.
But I think what you have to take to the West is less is more. And you sort of can do opulent stuff. Like I love what Sandeep does in terms of his stuff is like on ecstasy of ornament. I
Yes.
see a lot of beautiful design in his thing. And I also
Yes.
see that they've taken neon and this modern sort of, route. I mean, they started out with chicken curry, which I'm a huge fan of, and I think nobody else in the country does it better than them. But when you look at the designs today, there is such a contemporary feel to it, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do in jewelry as well. So I think there's a huge synergy between the two brands. And I also feel that if I can make the kind of jewelry that I'm making to go with a white shirt or with everyday clothes, then that's really the language that we need to speak to be able to take India to the world, if that's the next step that we want to go to. Because I think limited in design in India to this whole thing. When you think bridal, you just think of how do I dress up this girl's neck a little more to sort of make her feel like a Maharani or like a queen or whatever. So the point is that I think less is more. And if you take that single thing, because in India, the design that we have is just so fabulous that we can really explore and, take different ideas from that and take it into the West. And I think we haven't done enough of that.
Right. Correct. Sandeep, what's your take? How do we
Raj, you got a new
this?
line called the rock and roll bobble. Rock and roll bobbles should be your new line of this contemporary jewelry. Anyway,
left out.
I want to beat you up.
I'm feeling a little because Jamal is not wearing a necklace from me today.
Yeah.
That's what's missing.
Jamal, you can wear it around. If we sent you a necklace, you can wear it around your wrist.
Well, more likely it'll be on the wrist. Yes, Sandeep, what's your take on
Firstly,
Indian
I want to
design?
beat you up. And when you say the term garish and India and OTT and guys, we are the land of the Maharajas, okay? So it is a part of our heritage, and we know luxury more than any fucking person in the world knows.
Correct.
We are born into luxury.
Yes.
So I agree with you. If the aesthetic is wrong, it can be garish. If the aesthetic is wrong, it can go completely wrong. And there are enough people doing bad aesthetics, bad clothes, right?
Yes.
But unfortunately, if you look at it correctly, you see it in the right light, there's nothing wrong with garish, because Lavin is also very garish, and so is many people. They do fully beaded things that are going out of India, which are gold, and everything at Oscars is loud. A lot of loud things also. But at the same time, you have a white and white chicken, which mutes everything down. We do a lot of self on self. We love that.
Yes.
Garish as a term is done with bad. Garish to me is related to bad design. The same way in jewelry, garish is when you do bad design. It's got more to do with bad design, bad pattern, and bad embroidery, which makes it look much more brighter. So nothing known as garish. Stop it, okay? This is just
sorry
on the Indians that they are garish.
I will change the word garish in my head to rich. Right? I think we're okay with rich. We all agree with that.
Look at the Russians. How OTT are the Russians?
Yes.
How OTT are the Americans?
Absolutely.
Dress up like nobody. I mean, if they're going to the theater, if they're going to an opera, they are dressed up to the nines.
Right. Absolutely.
At weddings, and I think Indian weddings are the thing. You can't be apologetic about our weddings. Our wedding is a celebration. We have to celebrate. We have to have color, and everybody is in competition with each other, which is the best part.
Yes, absolutely. No, you guys have hit the nail on the head, and thank you for that correction. Guys, we're just a little over the 30-minute mark. I'm going to take a few reader questions, viewer questions that are coming to me over here. And the first question is to both of you. It comes from Swati Dikshit on Facebook. She says, if you were to pick one iconic Indian design, this could be anything, a pattern, a gadget, an architectural accent, what would you pick and why?
I'd pick up chicken curry any day because it's the most beautiful, intense, fabulous embroidery, which is also one of the only embroideries that are done by women exclusively. And it's only in a certain region of India. And I hope it will go the computer way and people don't knock it off on computers, though there's a lot of attempt being made, but I would pick up white and white any day.
Right. Raj, what would you pick?
I'm not a gadget guy at all. I'm just so out of it that I think I need to go and have my head examined. But I actually would choose something very, very simple because maybe I'd choose something from Sandeep's. I'd choose his chicken curry actually, because I think that sort of gives you the story of how Indian design can be so simple yet so rich.
Intricate. Yeah.
And how
Chicken curry. We both get the votes for that. The next question comes from Aparna Chawla. If you were to, I think this is for Sandeep. Sandeep, if you were to wake up as the Minister of Textiles, 3 policies you would put into place immediately.
I would, I mean, that's a really crazy one. Anyway, I'm not going to wake up as the Minister of Textiles soon. And nor am I qualified to wake up as a Minister of Textiles. But I would definitely start taking care of handloom as handloom and promote handloom, and also maybe get a like a mark on every handloom fabric which is hand woven out, and also be very kind to the people who are doing handloom, encourage them in a way. The same way, hand embroidery over machine embroidery, and encourage. This is going to be a very Jamal. Unfortunately, this is going to be a dying breed otherwise, because generation next is not, if your father is a karigar or your father is a handloom worker, you are not going to become what your father is, because you've seen your father's struggle or you've seen your father's expertise. And today's generation is almost everything's about getting instant success, instant money, and this is a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work. So I would just take it easy on the taxation on these things, and would really impose some kind of a rule that people who are manufacturing in India, whether it's embroidery, whether it's jewelry, and taking it abroad and calling it made in Paris, should have label said embroidered in India. India doesn't get the credit for half the work. I mean, we are Indians are doing all the embroideries of people all over the world, but we're not even fucking acknowledged. Nobody even talks about it. Nobody even mentions that made in India at any point of time. So I think made in India acknowledgement should come sooner or later. This is actually a friend of mine, Divya Thakur, who's a product designer. Actually, she wrote, I read an article of hers in the New York Times, and she's talking the same thing with the amount of plagiarism that's happening out of India, the amount of talent that's been taken out of India without acknowledgement has to. And I believe in that it should be. If I was the minister of this thing, I would definitely put some kind of a rule that they have to mention made in India.
Right. Fantastic. There's another fun question now, and I think it has to do with the celebration that we are, the 34th celebration that we have. I'm not going to take the name of the person who sent this question because it's a little bit unsayable in public. But the question really is, have you, Sandeep and Raj, designed an outfit or jewelry for a lady's first and second marriage?
I think we have.
Plenty. Actually, plenty.
Yeah, we have. And it's wonderful because the first marriage is always completely with everything, and then second time you're just taking it slightly easy because you don't know.
Absolutely. The first time was exuberant, and the second time round, she's a little more mature, so she's like a little more knowing, and what she wants. Yeah.
So we're not going to ask names, but did it feel odd for you when you were doing it, Raj? Designing for a second time, for a second marriage, for the same person?
Second marriage, I don't see any problem. I think it's wonderful that she's able to move on with her life. I think it's wonderful to. I think people are so claustrophobic in relationships in India that we need to give them the space to breathe. And I think a second marriage is wonderful. I would say to all the women out there, get out of your first marriage and move on to your second. It's more business.
I was thinking my Raj's jewelry during COVID time.
It's more business for us as well.
On that note, guys, we're going to do a little bit of a celebration. Today is, of course, several reasons to celebrate. The 74th Independence Day of our country. This is the first episode of the first season of the India Story Continues. 34 years of Abu Jani, Sandeep Khosla. And for that, I'm going to now play a little song, and there's a little surprise.
What is the song now?
Oh, come into the frame.
Who, me?
That is the surprise, ladies and gentlemen. There's
I cannot believe you've done this, Jamal, in Goa to get me the most fabulous looking cake. I cannot
That
believe
is
this.
wonderful. But it's not fair
Sandeep.
that he gets to eat it alone.
I can't eat it alone. So just for you, Jamal, I'm going to cut this cake and we're giving a big thank you to the India Story and Jamal for this wonderful cake. Ever grateful to you guys.
It's,
And who made this fabulous cake? I want to know. Thank you so much.
we eat this virtually.
Beautiful.
That's great. Fantastic.
Congratulations, Sandeep. This comes with very, 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 very special greetings from Madhu Nyotia and the entire team of the India Story.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Madhu. Thank you, Madhu. It is absolutely wonderful. This
Jamal,
cake
we
is
have
a huge surprise.
we're not letting you go off the hook. After your surprise.
In a completely flooded Goa, how she's managed to do it is only she can do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, are you embarrassed enough, Sandeep?
Yes, I'm back.
Can I
This
now?
really taken it to another level now.
Can I tell you not to worry at all? Because we are all set to embarrass you more.
Oh God!
Ladies and gentlemen,
enough
we
for a
have
day?
a very special video that's going to play right now. Can we have the video, please?
What video are you now? What?
Hello, Sandeep. We met on 15th August, Independence Day, and now it is 34 years. And what I've learned is you have to go with the flow, and opposites attract. For me, from my experience, it has been that opposites attract. It's not an easy journey, but then when you look back, and there are good times that you look into, and positive times, and progress, and creativity, and happiness, I have no complaints. If I have to live it again, I would do exactly what I have done this life.
That is major. How did you get Abu to come on camera? It's an impossible thing. I mean,
Raj, anybody who knows Abu Jani knows what a reticent man he is. He
oh
will
God, how do you do it?
never ever come in front of the camera. And for the others who are watching, we tell you he may have looked a bit serious, but this is as mushy as Abu Jani can ever get. 34 years obviously means a lot to him. Sandeep, you are the actual mushy one. Now, come on, give him a mushy, mushy reply. Even give him a kiss.
No, I must say this is actually incredible that Abu has done this, and I mean, it has been a glorious 34 years, and it lots of ups and downs. But at the end of the day, we're here, right in front of you, and having a great time cutting a cake, hearing Abu speak, which is really magical to me. It's really magical, and maybe continue to weave magic for the rest of our life. Thank you, Jamal, for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abu. Don't thank me. Come on, blow him a kiss. Come on, you can do that. Now it's legal.
Not watching this.
We will make sure it gets to him. Get a message across to him. Look into the camera for a minute,
Abu,
Sandeep, and give him a most personal message.
Abu, you are the most special person in the world, and you are one of the most creative people I've ever come across in my life, and maybe rock and roll on always.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That is absolutely fantastic.
Question for Jamal.
A message for Jamal?
Yes, do you have a question?
Best person ever.
Okay, I have a question for Jamal. Jamal, you've been through it all. You've been through Times of India. You've been through India Today. You've been through, and now you're with HT. So you've been through all the power media houses of the country. And you're essentially in a power game. So tell us, I mean, you must be going through this whole thing of who do I put on my cover next week? And there must be so many equations and so much of, so much thinking to do in terms of now who do I play? And every time you put somebody up, you have to think of the consequences of putting that person up versus the other person who really expects you to put him up or her up. So how do you play this whole game and which media house has not interfered with your work?
You are trying to put me in a sticky situation, but like I said, the spotlight is on you
tried
guys.
hard to put us in a spot.
Simple one-line answer. Like we have, like everyone can see on our screens today, I like to stay in the shadows. And that's where I remain, and that's how I get through it all. But guys, thank you so much for indulging me. My questions were a little on the edge. Thank you for having fun. It was such a great afternoon talking to you. It is a great start to the India Story Continues. On behalf of everyone at the India Story and Madhu Neotia, thank you for gracing us. And the others who are watching, do continue watching every Saturday for more workshops, performances, and great conversations as the India Story continues.
Thank you, everybody. Happy Independence Day. Be free, be wonderful, and be yourself. And be inclusive, diverse, and every other word I can think of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Raj, anything?
Thank you,
Any last
Jamal.
words?
No, thank you. I expected a longer answer, but your answer as the final thing. So thank you very much. It was wonderful talking.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The India Story next Saturday continues.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Madhu. Thank you for the cake. Thank you, Babu. Thank you.
Thank you for Abu. It's almost like
Abu, okay, leave studio.